He is universally worshipped as the dark, dragon suit-wearing riff sorcerer behind Led Zeppelin, but before he ever formed the heaviest band in the world, Jimmy Page was secretly the uncredited backbone of 1960s pop music. In his early 20s, Page was such a terrifyingly efficient session guitarist that he played on an estimated 60% of all rock music recorded in England between 1963 and 1966. He secretly laid down the blistering guitar tracks for artists ranging from the Kinks and the Who to Shirley Bassey's iconic James Bond theme Goldfinger, frequently playing the heavy rhythm and lead parts entirely uncredited while the actual band members watched helplessly from the control room. Before he ever picked up a massive Gibson Les Paul, Page was a clean-cut teenage skiffle player. In 1957, a 13-year-old Page made his very first television appearance on a BBC talent show with his skiffle band. When the host interviewed the young boy and asked him what he wanted to do after he finished school, the future architect of hard rock politely explained that he had absolutely no intention of pursuing music. Instead, he earnestly stated he wanted to do biological research to find a cure for cancer. Page's dark, mystical reputation wasn't just a stage gimmick, it was a deeply ingrained lifestyle. He was incredibly obsessed with the writings of the infamous British occultist Aleister Crowley. His obsession ran so deep that in the early 1970s, Page opened his very own occult publishing house and bookstore in London called The Equinox. He even went as far as purchasing Boleskine House, Crowley's notorious, supposedly haunted former estate, situated directly on the shores of Loch Ness in Scotland, where he would frequently isolate himself to write music. One of the most iconic, mind-bending visual and sonic moments in rock history is Jimmy Page attacking his electric guitar with a violin bow during the massive live solos of Dazed and Confused. However, Page didn't actually invent the technique. During his days as a session musician, he was working alongside a classically trained session violinist named David McCallum Sr., the father of the famous NCIS actor. McCallum casually suggested that Page try using his bow on the guitar strings. Page tried it, realized it created an incredibly eerie, terrifying drone, and completely stole the concept for Led Zeppelin. When Eric Clapton abruptly quit the legendary British blues rock band the Yardbirds in 1965, the band desperately offered the lead guitar job to Jimmy Page. Because he was making so much money as a comfortable studio session player, Page actually turned them down and recommended his friend Jeff Beck instead. When the band's bass player later quit, Page finally agreed to join the group, but incredibly, he started out strictly playing the bass guitar. It was only later that he switched to 6 strings, creating a legendary short-lived dual lead guitar attack alongside Jeff Beck before the band collapsed and Page formed Led Zeppelin from the ashes.